There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, we're going to talk some hockey right out of the gates. We know the first-round matchup, the Mammoth. The Golden Knights. Joining us now, of course, he's on that Mammoth broadcast. He's our buddy, Nick Olczyk. Hey, Nick, how's it going? A great way to open the show with you.
Jake and Ben, it's an honor. Great to be with you guys yet again. And man, oh man, has it ever been an exciting finish here to the regular season. Last home game tonight here at home against the St. Louis Blues, and then we start playing the real season once this Mammoth team does get to the playoffs. But boy, oh boy, what a ride it has been so far, and it's only getting started, which is the best part.
Yeah, Nick, before we look at Vegas, let's look back at what the Mammoth have done over the last really month, when we knew this was starting to heat up since the Olympics. Everybody was racing for this spot specifically, and the Mammoth did it. What do you think was the key to getting to where they are today?
Well, I think that they found a way to win the games that they had to, and I think that right now they are building their game. They are fine-tuning the structure to be able to get to the point where they're firing on all cylinders come the time of the year where, quite frankly, you need to. And, I mean, you look at how they ended the month of March, huge win on the road against the LA Kings, and then they had a big win over Seattle, big win over Vancouver, who at that time, yes, was far out of a playoff spot and was eliminated. But sometimes this time of the year, the teams that don't have playoffs to play for, they can just play loose and without pressure. And sometimes that's the biggest key to winning a few games. And then they came home. Unbelievable win over the Edmonton Oilers. And then the night they clinched with a win over Nashville. And then, a little bit of a rough patch, a game where they probably deserve better than a 4-1 loss against the Carolina Hurricanes. And obviously not a great game in Calgary, the second game of a back-to-back, but then a big response last game against the Jets. So I just think that they right now are prepping and priming themselves to be playing the best that they have all season. And boy, oh boy, is this matchup ever going to be a good one.
I'm not really a stats guy, Nick, but I do know that some stats have more value than others. And I'm curious, when it comes to evaluating the overall quality of an NHL team, how useful is the differential stat? Because the Mammoth at plus 30 this year, how useful is that stat?
That's a huge determining factor because that is the goal differential at 5-on-5, and come playoff time, and there's usually less penalties called. Not always, but sometimes things are allowed to happen, and so if you can have your 5-on-5 game be a real strength, then there's a direct correlation between that and making the playoffs. And we've seen this year Utah come up with some big goals, and you also look to the rest of the division and the Western Conference, even if you want to take it a step further. Of course, you've got the big three. You've got Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. Colorado's plus 97, Dallas plus 53. And for our newer fans, that just means, if you're plus 97, that means you have 97 more goals scored for than against at 5-on-5. And then the Mammoth, they're sitting at plus 30, which is just two behind second in the West, the Minnesota Wild, in their same Central Division. So, yes, the points may not be where they're at for the Mammoths, but doing a lot of really good things at 5-on-5. And as I mentioned, come playoff time, there will be penalties called, yes, but that's, I think, one of the great things about our playoffs is not only do the games get tougher, but sometimes in those big moments the referees will put the whistles away because they know that they want to let the players decide the game. So I think that plays a big role in a team's success, and especially when they've been playing like the way they have at 5-on-5 here recently.
One of the big storylines Utah Mammoth fans are going to have to get used to with the Golden Knights is they made a coaching change very late in the year. They moved from Bruce Cassidy to John Tortorella. They go 7-0-1 after moving to Tortorella. What was the problem before in Vegas, and what have they done since? I mean, do you know what some of the issues were?
Yeah. I mean, first off, the guy that they fired, Bruce Cassidy, he's a hell of a coach. I mean, I think he is absolutely a top 5 coach in the National Hockey League. And you looked at the success that he had in his prior stop in Vegas with the Boston Bruins. I mean, he had an unbelievable record there. And then in Vegas, what a run they had. And of course, culminating in a Stanley Cup a couple of years ago for Bruce Cassidy and the Vegas Golden Knights. But I think like any leader, like any boss, like anything, sometimes things may get a little stale. That maybe the message goes a little bit dry, and that's not at all the line of demarcation for him as a coach. But that's just the way that things go sometimes. And look, this year for Vegas, goaltending has been a massive sore spot. Carter Hart has played really good here lately since coming back from an injury. They acquired him, but Akira Schmid and Aiden Hill, who were their two goalies for the majority of the season, I mean, that was the Achilles heel for the Vegas Golden Knights. They could score, they could create, their power play was good, but they just couldn't quite get the right saves at the right times. But sometimes, and by sometimes I mean most of the time, you can get a real boost. You can get a real mentality of just having a clean slate, and the players can just go out and play when you fire your coach. But be able to do it with 8 games to go, pretty unheard of. Really hasn't happened all that much. I remember in the early 2000s, the New Jersey Devils had fired a coach. They went on to win a Stanley Cup. So it has been done, but extremely rare in the National Hockey League's history. And even if you take it a step further, you look at what the New York Islanders did. They fired Patrick Roy and brought in Pete DeBoer with 4 games left. So 2 really, really crazy moves. But it has certainly paid off here for the Vegas Golden Knights. And the one thing that John Tortorella has made very clear is that he did not come into this job wanting to change everything and start implementing new systems. You're way too far into the season and close to the playoffs to start putting everything through the meat grinder and switching up lines. That's a different story to have a feel for who's going and who's not if it's a tough night offensively. But he is a motivator. That is John Tortorella to his core, and he certainly seems to have the attention of his players, because this run that they have gone on has secured their playoff spot. Because when Bruce Cassidy, their former head coach, was fired, they were in, but they were not in convincingly, that being in a playoff position. So it's going to be a heck of a series, but with how the Vegas Golden Knights are playing right now, and considering they're 7-0-3 in their last 10 games, this is setting up for quite the spicy first-round matchup, not just because of the geographical closeness of Utah and Vegas, but because some of the battles that they've had during the regular season.
All right, Nick, this is not a question but a take, and I'm curious to your reaction, especially as somebody who is newish to our community. But, with the Mammoth as they build here, I think they have no doubt proved that there is a hockey community here in town, and the club has been supported really well. But I think that a playoff run or series, I don't even think they have to win, but just having, the vibe hit town of Stanley Cup playoff, the Mammoth flags, the playoff beards, the whole 9 yards, I think is super, super important as this sport grows here in this community. On top of that, Vegas is a sister city to Salt Lake in a lot of ways. And we have, with college sports and stuff, we have a relationship with Vegas that goes way back. I think it's super critical that playoff hockey is coming to Salt Lake, but also awesome that it's this particular opponent. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and our great fans hopefully can maybe take a road trip and go see some of the games 1 and 2. Maybe we can fill their barn a little bit with some of Mammoth Nation, so that way there could be some cheering when the Mammoth inevitably score at some point in the first game and in game 2. But you could be as close as you want geographically. You can have as many games in the regular season as you want against another team, but there's nothing that breeds content. There's nothing that breeds competitiveness. There's nothing that breeds a rivalry quite like playoff hockey. A first team to 4 games, possibility of 7-game series, bloodbath and gauntlet of going up against the same team over and over. And look, every team going into the playoffs, they have their pre-scout done. They know every system, every structure of what the other team's going to do. But the great difference is going to be who can make those adjustments to try to maybe throw a new wrench into what they're trying to do to catch their opponent off guard. But I mean, I have seen our fans go at it back and forth this year, last year with the fans in Vegas, and I think it is going to be just an unbelievable series. And the hope is that this can breed an unbelievable rivalry, not just for this playoff series, but hopefully for seasons and more playoff series to come.
Stylistically, the Mammoth are very quick. Vegas is pretty slow, but very skilled. How do these two match up, and what is the benefit when it comes to the postseason between those two styles?
Yeah, I would say that I definitely would say that Utah is quicker overall, and just in terms of having more foot speed and more guys that can skate really fast, but do not at all slight the Vegas Golden Knights, because they got some guys that can really get up and go, and three that come to mind for me. First has got to be Jack Eichel. I mean, he's as good of a two-way Selke nominee, center iceman in the entire National Hockey League, who's going to get you 90 to 100 points every regular season, and was part of that Vegas Golden Knights team that won the Stanley Cup. Another guy that came over in a trade was Mitch Marner, and he has been one of the more elite players in the entire league, and boy, oh boy, can he ever get up and go as well. And then on the back end, Shea Theodore, who's just, I don't know if he's a defenseman or a rover, because he plays the role as a defenseman, but he is always looking to jump into the play, always looking to lug the mail from his own zone all the way through the middle of the ice and into Utah's defensive zone throughout this series. So I think those will be three guys to really key in on and make sure that Utah doesn't allow them to beat them up the ice. It's going to happen because those guys I think the game so well, and they can see how plays develop even before they do. So they're going to be able to punch through some holes, but Utah's just got to make sure that they limit those opportunities, and they limit the amount of times that those guys have a time and space with the puck on their stick. But as far as the matchup goes, look at the playoffs are going to be very different. It's going to be very different from the regular season. But overall, Utah has played Vegas well. In the last two games that they played each other in the regular season, Utah's outscored them 9-1 in those two games, 5-1 score line, and then 4-0 most recently back in mid-March. So with the way that both these teams are playing right now, I think we are setting up for a heck of a series. And I don't think this is going to be a short series, guys. If I'm being completely honest, looking at what both teams can do, what they have done, and what the possibilities are, is that this very well could be a back and forth series. And since I'm predicting that to be the case, expect adversity. Expect Vegas to score because they got a really good team, but those are the moments why you have to rely on your veterans, your leadership, the guys that have been through it, the guys that have won Stanley Cups. This is where you really rely on them the most come the most important time of the season.
Here's a cliche radio question for you, Nick. Who's the X factor for the Mammoth in this matchup?
I'm really looking for a couple of guys who maybe don't get the spotlight that they should, and we try to do it as much as we can on our shows on the TV side. But two guys I think that very well could play a huge role. First is Kyler Yamamoto. I think he is as good of a puck retriever, as good of a puck hound, as good of a battle winner as there is on this team. And yes, he may be 5'9", but more times than not, he plays like he's 9'5". Because of his ability to get underneath opponents, even if they're bigger than him, the skating factor, the pace, the speed that he plays with. And another guy kind of in a similar stature and a similar grind and physicality is Michael Carcone. Look for him to play a big role in this series. I mean, we see multiple times per game he's either burning a defenseman wide or doing a great job to get in on the forechecks. I think those two guys maybe a little bit that don't get enough spotlight are two guys I'm looking at. But there's really one that comes to mind for me, and this is a guy that hopefully he can be back. We're not sure. The last we heard is that he's still week to week, but big Jack McBain. I mean, this guy was bred and created to play playoff hockey. 6'4", well over 200 pounds. Every single game he played in this year, he is a nightmare for defensemen when they're going back on a puck when it's dumped in their own zone, because they know that he's coming. He's a train on the tracks, and he hits to hurt. And in games 1, in game 2, in game 3, if you pound the defenseman, it may not hurt early in the series, but, man, it's going to pay off come games 5, 6, or 7 if the series ends up going that long, which I do think it will. So I think those are 3 guys that really come to mind, Jake and Ben, and boy, oh boy, I just hope that Jack McBain can get back for the playoff run, because when you look at this roster, you've got some great players, but he is a guy stature-wise, style of play-wise, physical-wise. He is a prototypical playoff player.
Bear has coached in the playoffs, just not in the NHL. He's done well in the OHL, I believe, and elsewhere. What type of advantage is that for Tortorella, who's as experienced as he is?
I would say, I don't know if it's a massive advantage, but from a Utah perspective, they're all kind of going through this together. Now, I think one of the other great aspects of this question is on the Utah Mammoth coaching staff, you've got a bunch of playoff experience, whether it be Blaine Forsythe, who was with the Washington Capitals for a ton of years, running the power play when Alexander Ovechkin was there, with Nicholas Backstrom and that great run that they had through the early 2010s and into to the late 2018, 17, so on and so forth. And then you've also got John Madden, who does an unbelievable job with the penalty kill. He's got a couple of Stanley Cups to his name, and he played in the playoffs a bunch as well. So I think that this is a team that has grown together. Andre Tourigny, I think, has done a phenomenal job of both developing players and holding them accountable during the season. And this is going to be a very exciting time for everybody, but I cannot underscore it enough how important it is to have the guys on the bench and in that room that have won at the highest level, multiple Stanley Cups, like an Ian Cole, like a Mikhail Sergachev, guys that know exactly what it takes to win at this time of the year. So hopefully a cohesive effort, which I'm sure will be the case from the bench on out, knowing that you've got a lot of playoff experience all around that locker room.
Nick, just so you know, Ben and I have both promised to not shave our back hair until the playoff run for the Mammoth is over. So we're on board, buddy. We're not going to do it. No manscaping for us until they're out.
I think you may be starting a new trend there, boys. Are we all trying to turn into mammoths ourselves and just grow out the body hair, or what?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no manscaping until
the only thing I will say as I sign off here is to all of our listeners, Mammoth fans, hockey fans, new Mammoth fans and I've run into a couple in the last couple of days that just discovered the team because there's going to be professional sports playoffs here for the first time in a bit here in the great state of Utah. The only advice I will give everybody is buckle up, because the regular season was fun. There were some amazing games, like the late comeback against Philadelphia in mid-January. Finally, when Utah found a way to beat Edmonton in that 6-5 thriller. Those games were great, but come playoff time, every puck battle means that much more. Every hit in Game 1 is going to pay off in Game 6 if the series goes that long. Every inch has to be battled for. It has to be sweat for. And so there is nothing better, and I know I'm biased in saying this, but there's nothing better in pro sports than the Stanley Cup playoffs. So hopefully everybody can enjoy, whether it's from inside the Delta Center, a fine drinking establishment, wherever they may be, or hopefully some watch parties that kick off. This is something that's going to breed a whole new level of what it means to be a fan of the Utah Mammoth.
Nick, chatting with you was a great way to start the show. Thanks for doing it.
Thanks, Nick.
Anytime, boys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Nick. Nick Olczyk, our buddy, of course, on the Mammoth broadcast as the Mammoth get ready to take on the Golden Knights.
Looks like Sunday. Sunday, probably Game 1.
Okay, I could spend a Sunday watching a playoff game. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no problem with that at all. I think WWE is in Vegas on the 18th, so they can't play on Saturday.
If you tell me the afternoon, like an afternoon puck drop, I'll be even more excited. Because I can picture like exactly midday. What my afternoon is going to be like.
Park on the couch? What are you doing?
Yeah, park on the couch.
Okay.
Maybe a snack available. The beverage of my choice.
Okay.
And it sounds like
OJ?
Oh, I don't know. I've been on a ginger ale kick lately.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Usually reserved for flights, but okay.
No, the Canada Dry hits smooth.
Ginger ale's always a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
They even have the flavored ginger ales now.
The cranberry one that they have around Christmas is my ultimate favorite.
I still like it straight up, but the cranberry one is pretty good. But they have others.
You ever make your own
What?
ginger ale?
Can you make your own? I don't know.
It's like Sprite, bitters, like Augusta bitters, whatever they call it. And then you can do like a little squeeze of lemon or a little dash of like Coca-Cola on top. It gives you the whole thing. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a tip.
I'm going to have to try this.
Yeah, it's a little tip.
All right. Or you could just buy it at the
Or just
store.
buy it. It's way cheaper. Yeah.
You could just,
There's that Canada Dry again.
you either get the Schweppes or the Canada Dry. You
There's
know
also
what's,
the Seagrams, right, or something like that.
you know what's funny is that I definitely can taste the difference between Coke and Pepsi. 1,000%. I cannot tell you the difference between Schweppes and Canada Dry.
No, but they are trying to achieve the same flavor. Or I'm not sure Coke and Pepsi are actually trying to achieve the same
I think
flavor.
they are. They're
You
both
think so?
cola.
Is that a flavor? Is cola a flavor?
Yeah.
Never really thought of it that way.
Yeah, cola is a flavor.
What
You ever had Shasta Cola? It's terrible. No offense to the good folks at Shasta.
It's pretty bad, though.
Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Here we go again.
Joined once again by the radio voice of the Utah Jazz, David Locke.
I'm super frustrated with Adam Silver because he just blows in the wind and acquiesces to all the blowhard media talk show host people like us. Like, I've never heard anyone listen to us more. Yes, we have a tanking problem, but Adam Silver's complete lack of a backbone, changing the narrative of what's positive about this league, is a huge part of this problem right now, in my opinion. He should have gotten up on that press conference and said, we've had 7 different champions in 7 years. Detroit 2 years ago won 25 games. They're now number 1 in the East. Oklahoma City went through it 3 years ago and they've won a title. We are the only sport in the world where you can really turn your favors in a span of 24 months. He's done this 3 years in a row where he just blows in the wind to everyone's complaints. TV ratings, 65-game rule. What a stupid freaking rule.
I thought the answer, my friend, was blowing in the wind.
Thank you, Bob.
The answer is blowing in the wind.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben Anderson. It's time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. It's brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. Hatch in for Christian once again today. Where do you want to start, Hatch?
Number 1, BYU Cougars retain Robert Wright III.
Jake, you went a little viral for your last take on Rob Wright when he entered the transfer portal, that this wasn't going to be a major loss for BYU. How do you feel about him coming back to BYU?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with Kevin Young that he's the best point guard in the country, but
that might be a stretch.
I get it why they would sell that.
He's one of the point guards in the country. No, he's a good point guard.
But does he play point guard? That's why I want to see him. I don't like what BYU's offense devolved into this year.
Yeah.
And he was part of that, not his fault.
It is a thing that happens when you have star players, and Rob plays like a star, and
Right.
AJ was clearly a star. It naturally gets take-turny. We've talked about it a lot, whether it's, the Oklahoma City Thunder historically, or there was fear that it would happen with the Lakers, with Luka and LeBron. When you have great players, it is a little bit of what happens.
Yeah. So I think, say what you will about Mark Pope, I think his last team at BYU really played like a team. I mean, they were successful because of the way that they played. They got open shots because they were very team on 3, Ben. And yes, that dynamic gets a little dicey when you're landing the best recruit in the country. I fully understand that. And Rob Wright himself is somebody who's in high demand because he's not in high demand because he sucks.
Sure.
So how does Kevin Young find a way to use him next year? I think will be the critical question.
We've debated this when it comes to Keontae George and is Keontae going to naturally evolve into just scoring 29 points a game because that's what so many guards of his ilk do, and is that actually good for your basketball team or not? And looking at it with BYU, as good as Bruce Branch III should be, he's not A.J. DeBonsa, and you've got Jake Whalen coming back, and you've got coming back. I know he went to Utah. Wallin, excuse me. Colin Chandler coming to BYU. It's not as talented as what they were last year as far as top-tier A.J. DeBonsa caliber talent. So they may naturally play like a team, but sometimes when you have that gap, you end up with a ball-dominant point guard holding the ball a lot.
Yeah.
So we may see even more Rob Wright next year. I'll be curious how he balances that.
I don't think that would be better for BYU.
I agree. BYU's not going to be better without A.J. DeBonsa, probably.
He's a point guard who had a 0 assist game.
Uh-huh. He's got a little bit of that in him.
That is not winning basketball, in my opinion. So we'll see. But he's obviously talented. I mean, speaking of Pope, he wasn't banging down his door to get him because he sucks.
Right.
Although Pope's judgment of talent lately has been a little askew.
Do you think?
What, do you think that Kentucky underperformed because Pope is a moron, or did they underperform because they recruited the wrong players?
Yeah, I do think he has a system. I think he's gotten billed a little bit as a car salesman or a rah-rah guy, which he has that. But he ran really good stuff at BYU. They ran really cool stuff, I thought, and generated a ton of open looks. And then for some reason he recruited a bunch of non-shooters at Kentucky last year. It didn't really make any sense other than Chandler. So I'm not ruling out Pope's abilities to succeed. It may not work at Kentucky because they want top-tier guys and not just necessarily role guys, fit guys.
Uh-huh.
And that's a problem with taking a job if you're a system coach trying to go and coach at Kentucky. That might be a failure. That might just be a bad fit for him. But I think he can have some success.
Are you a roll guy, at the restaurant before dinner?
Free bread?
Do you slam the rolls? See, I always worry about ruining my dinner, so
I try not to.
I never eat the rolls.
I try not to. Yeah.
But I see some people sit down and they're like, I'm going to put down 25 of these things before you even order.
There's a big article about this, the best free bread in America in the Atlantic over the weekend. My wife was nonstop talking about it. You have obvious that jumped to the front of your mind?
What, the best rolls?
The best roll, the free bread that they feed you.
No.
Texas Roadhouse has to jump to the top of the list, right?
Well, I know everybody likes Red Lobsters. What do they get?
Yeah. That's true. I'd forgotten about Red Lobster. I haven't gone there in a while. But yeah, they've got the little.
Uh-huh. Are you a roll guy, Hatch? Do you slam the rolls before?
I used to be. I've since changed my ways.
Okay. Yeah, because you ruin one nice steak dinner because you just slammed a bunch of rolls.
I did it. I've done it too many times and realized, you know what? I'm here for the actual steak part of this. The rolls are great and all, but I'm here for the main course.
All right. Anyway, that jumped to mind when Ben said roll player.
Market Street
roll guy
does if you go and do the brunch, they do the orange cinnamon rolls before.
Uh-huh.
Those are good too. I think those are free. Maybe they're not free. I don't know. Slammed too many of those in my life.
What's next, Ash?
All right, number 2, Philadelphia 76ers and the Golden State Warriors advance in the NBA play-in tournament.
Man, end of the Clippers. I don't know if it's era, but I wouldn't be surprised if Tyronn Lue moves on. I wouldn't be surprised if Kawhi doesn't sign a contract extension this offseason. And he's got 1 year left on his deal, but I wonder if they start to look elsewhere with Kawhi, try and trade him to get some stuff back. They don't have their pick. They're handing another lottery pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's amazing. Oklahoma every year seems to have a lottery pick, and they've got an 8% chance moving into the top 4. It's completely unprotected. I fully expect that to happen. But just a collapse from the Clippers. And I will admit, it was really fun to see Steph go vintage Steph. And they have absolutely they probably beat the Suns in the next play-in game tomorrow night. They're going to get wiped off the face of the earth by the Oklahoma City Thunder. But it was fun to see Steph kind of put on his cape one more time and just drain 3 after 3 after 3, knowing that you know what's coming, you know what he wants to do, and you simply cannot stop it.
Do you remember the game that Dennis Pitta beat the Donks in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl? The Ravens beat the Broncos. to go to the Super Bowl.
I know the scenario better than the specifics.
So I was watching that game at the Poplar Street Pub downtown. And at the table next to us was the most obnoxious Bronco fan that you've ever come across. And he was also a Ute fan because he had his Ute hat on. I mean, just like you couldn't even associate with the people you were there with because he was so loud and obnoxious.
Uh-huh.
So Dennis Pitta, you know what play I'm talking about, right, Hatch? Dennis Pitta basically single-handedly beats the Broncos, and the Ravens go to the Super Bowl. And the look of just total destruction of this guy's soul in one play, I could not have enjoyed something more.
It was very thorough.
This guy looked like somebody just, like what I picture a stockbroker would look like during the crash of 19, whatever that was.
29.
29.
Yeah.
I mean, just ruined his life.
Uh-huh.
I enjoyed it so much. It was just amazing. I feel that way about Steve Ballmer.
Okay.
That guy is so obnoxious
I had the same
and
thought
so
last
in
night.
your face and such a bozo that when you'd see the look of him just destroyed because he has the ultimate hard luck franchise in the NBA and it always goes south because you're the Clippers, and watching him have to digest that is just hook it into my veins.
There was something very Clippersy about all of it, right? You host the All-Star game. You've got your super stadium or arena that you've built. You've got Kawhi Leonard. He's the best player on the floor through the first three quarters. They're in not total control, clearly, but somewhat control of this game. And it just collapses the way the Clippers always collapse. And he has to sit there and watch it, despite the fact that he's the richest owner and one of the richest people on the entire planet. You can't somehow shake the stink of the Clippers off of you.
Do you remember the trope in the 90s of the movie trope in the 90s of you take an attractive person, put glasses on them, and give them a boring hairstyle?
Yeah, so she's all that kind of the key.
And then the end of the movie, they take her hair out of the bun and take off her glasses.
Rachel Lee Cook's a total babe.
Wow. But can you imagine if you did that in real life where you just took a very non-attractive person and then gave them a different hairstyle and took their glasses off and they'd still be that unattractive person? Like if that happened in real life, that would, you take the Clippers, you give them a new building, you give them the richest owner in sports, a guy who's coming in and says, you know what, we're gonna take a bite out of the Lakers and all this stuff, and you realize, still the Clippers, man.
Lipstick on a pig.
They're still gonna blow it.
Doesn't matter how nice the shade is.
Did you see that Chris Paul sent out a snap talk of, I don't know, how would you describe the meme? It's
the guy at the funeral making sure that the guy that is in the casket is actually dead.
He said, I showed up to ensure that his mortal enemy was actually dead.
Because Chris Paul was actually cut by the Clippers earlier this year. And Larry Frank, the architect of all of this, somehow got a contract extension this year.
Yeah.
Probably because he has blackmail on the bozo owner.
Something.
I mean, but anyway. Way to go, Clippers. Clippers being Clippers. How many movies were like that in the 90s?
At least a couple.
Oh, yeah. All over the place.
And then, the Orlando Magic fumble as well.
Speaking of the Magic, I was looking through our NBA predictions before the season started. Do you know who I had predicted in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Whomst?
The Cavs versus the Magic.
Okay.
Do you know who you predicted in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Knicks. Hawks?
Magic.
Knicks, Magic. Magic by far one of the most disappointing teams in the league this year.
You and I, for the entire existence of this show so far, which goes back to 2021 or 2022, I get confused.
21, I think.
2021. Have been waiting for the Magic to turn the corner. You and I are both like, I kind of like what they're doing.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. This could be the year. I picked them to beat the Cavs in a first round series. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
They need to fire their coach.
Yeah, Mosley's
Again.
He's a dead man walking. No question.
Hasn't Banchero already said that he doesn't want to? He's going to demand a trade, or somebody said in his camp that he's going to demand a trade if they don't fire
They're going to trade probably one of Banchero or Wagner.
See, even that would be the wrong thing to do.
I think they should just get a new coach and see if they can actually run an offense and see if that fixes some of their problems. But I think they're going to go aggressive.
I know. What if we move the all-star player?
They're a little bit the Clippers of the East. A little more respectable, but a lot of the same issues.
Well, whatever. I'm not taking Philly seriously either. The play-in is just such a waste of time. I know the games were good.
Yeah, games were fun.
The games
They'll be
were
fun tomorrow, too.
Still a waste of time. Next.
Number 3, the Utah Mammoth are going to officially face the Vegas Golden Knights in the first round of the playoffs. By the way, we found out officially Sunday is when it'll start.
Do we know what time?
We don't know what time yet. That'll come out later tonight.
Very exciting. Very cool for the Mammoth, though I do know everybody was saying, avoid Edmonton at all costs. Like, be careful what you wish for. There are some real dudes on this Vegas team. And again, 7-0-1 in their last 8 games after firing their coach. They're on a heater.
I found what Nick was talking about interesting about the differential stat just because he was talking about how penalties just don't get called in the playoffs. Yeah. That is similar to basketball where the refereeing and all that gets a little looser and they let them go. And so I'll be curious to see how the Mammoth react to that.
But that might not be bad because the Golden Knights are a better special teams team than are the Mammoth. They're better on the power play. Yeah. They're better on the penalty kill. If there are fewer penalties, that's probably good for the Mammoth.
Well, my concern is what type of team they are. They're a speed team.
Yeah.
And so
if you can knock them around.
If you can knock them around and if it's not officiated as closely, that's usually how you beat speed teams. Why did the D'Antoni's Phoenix Suns never go anywhere?
Yeah.
Because they'd get beat up in the playoffs and So
and Keller's like not a big dude. You know, he's such a key player. He's not a big person. So if you can rough him up a little bit and there's no risk of penalties or less risk of penalties, certainly that might not be an advantage.
So I wonder. But McDavid's a fine for Edmonton. Is a great playoff player and he's all about speed. So I'll be curious to see what happens.
I'm excited. This is brand new. I'm excited to learn how this changes throughout a series, much the same way basketball does.
Stay tuned. We've got more Jake and Ben for you coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is JJ and Alex.
I got this. Travis Yost, our guest, he covers the NHL for TSN.
For the Mammoth, I think they're the 4th best team in the West. I think that they would be a likely favorite against Anaheim. They could be or should be a favorite in a series against Vegas. If the Mammoth close the season as we expect, by goal differential, this is the best team that has ever been on the ice for either the Utah or Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes franchise by goal differential this season right here, right now. This team absolutely should not be thinking we made it to the playoffs. What an accomplishment. At this point, considering how good the Mammoth have been, and I mean that, they really should be thinking, how do we go in and win a round in the playoffs? And I think if you've got Anaheim on the ice, even if you're the road team in that series, that's a matchup the Mammoth should want, and it's one they should win.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 7 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, I've got a story right up your alley.
Okay.
You know, I told you I discovered a Law & Order channel I somehow have. So I've been watching a lot of Law & Order. Uh-huh. You know, a lot of times the victim is also like a terrible person, but it's about justice. You know, like we've got to get justice because murder is bad.
Right.
I may not approve of this victim
murder
and what they were up to, but it's still a murder, and murder is wrong. Dateline, Ecuador. Soccer referee Javier Ortega was killed on the pitch during an amateur match in a horrifying scene on Sunday.
Why are you laughing? What is wrong with you?
Why do you soccer people take things way too seriously?
Well, this happened in, I think, Argentina.
That was the referee that was quartered.
But this
referee was just shot.
Yeah, still though, like,
what is your smile?
What?
You're taking a sick pleasure.
I thought my Law & Order comparison was pretty fun.
A crime procedural and a soccer referee.
Well, I don't like referees. And I don't want to say this guy deserved it because he obviously didn't.
Okay, Jack McCoy, keep going.
Nice done.
And you're usually the one that bring up death stories all the time. So I thought you would like it.
This is a man or a woman?
Man. Yeah, let's see. Reports from the Ecuadorian amateur game in, I can't pronounce that, the province of, it doesn't matter, say that multiple gunmen approached Ortega, shooting him at least once. Responders declared him dead at the scene. Again, Hatch, why is it that you soccer people get so upset about everything that it results to violence?
They are a passionate bunch. Let's just put it that way.
And I don't stick up for referees.
You know,
I know
will give you
what personality type is attracted to that profession. But murder is bad.
Yeah, murder is bad.
Can we speculate that maybe this didn't have anything to do with soccer?
Sure. But I think, if you want to go, what do they call that, Occam's razor or whatever? I mean, obviously.
You think he just blew a call?
Yeah. This guy missed an offsides.
You're gone. People need to be watching the cameras
the VAR.
to see the VAR review.
That was awesome.
But I suspect this guy didn't blow an offsides call that cost him his life.
Think he's got a side gig going?
No, he owes somebody money.
Oh.
No, this is like a neighborhood match. This is not some high-level match, it sounds like.
But if you owe somebody money, you bribe that referee. You don't kill that referee.
Well, you have to have money to bribe people. And I'm not sure. I don't know. What's the current economic health of Ecuador?
I don't know.
I know it's not exactly super successful at the moment.
I don't know. Maybe it's not just soccer fans like that. Where's Wright Waters guy? If he had the ability, would he have murdered that ref? You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah. Right. If he had
throw
brought a
flag,
weapon to work,
and I will fight anybody. If he actually had the means, would he have been murderous in that rage?
I guess I can't put it past him, but because I hope he wouldn't.
He was in the press box, so he couldn't get down there.
It says this was a targeted hit, which could mean anything.
That was a foul. Wait a minute. It's like that scene from White Men Can't Jump where he has to go to his car to get his gun.
From your friends, yes, at Marcus Johnson. In another chapter.
Where's White Waters?
Yeah.
That guy could have been murderous.
Don't give that guy a weapon.
No.
In another chapter in brutal recent history of soccer-related violence in Ecuador, so this is a theme, in December, Ecuadorian national team player Mario Pineda was killed in a shooting that also took the life of his partner and wounded his mother as he exited a butcher shop. So it seems like this might be a problem in Ecuador and maybe not necessarily though they did mention it's soccer there as well.
I have never been happier to be an American not soccer referee.
Yeah. Javier Ortega. That's a terrible story.
I know. Usually I beat you to it.
You laughed through it.
I laughed at my Law and Order comparison.
Laughed through the murder of Javier Ortega.
Well, sometimes laughter is the best medicine, Ben. We're all sad by Javier's passing.
Are we?
Yes.
One of us seems to be.
No, I said murder is bad. Murder is murder. What? Now you know how I feel.
About?
These dark stories that you're constantly bringing up.
I'm not laughing through the murder of a soccer referee.
Neither am I.
This is a new low for you.
Neither am I. I'm laughing about a particularly clever reference to Law and Order.
You think so?
Anytime I can get that in, I'm going to. That was a nice Jack McCoy blast by you, too. That was good. That's right what I was aiming for.
Good.
All right. Stay tuned. It's bad. I hope they apprehend this guy.
Me too.
Stay tuned. More next. Jacob Ed 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.